On a bright summer day in late August, I flew from Los Angeles to Denver on one of the coolest aircraft still flying in the United States, the legendary Boeing 757-300. This is United Airlines Flight 489, operated by a 21-year-old B757-300 registered November 57869, a unique bird known for its sleek stretched frame and unmistakable engine roar. From gate 75A at LAX to gate B28 at DEN, this is the full trip report on United Airlines' Boeing 757-300 in Economy Plus. This is going to be a blast, and I'm super excited for this. So let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Welcome everybody to Los Angeles International Airport, better known as LAX. This is one of my favorite airports in the United States, and definitely check out all the content on my channel from this amazing airport. I have just arrived on a JetBlue Airbus A320 in the Boston Celtics livery. Definitely check out that trip report to see what JetBlue Airways is all about. With that being said, we have made our way over here to Terminal 7 and Terminal 8, which houses United's hub here at LAX. All the gates at LAX do intertwine, so you can't connect between the different terminals if you so choose, but TSA pre-check likely would have been seamless and fast. Terminal 7 opened in 1962 and has undergone several expansions and renovations in recent years. The latest renovations occurred in 2017 to upgrade the concessions in the terminal. Welcome to gate 75A, where my flight, United 489 to Denver, is at. Waiting at the stand is November 57869, a 21-year-old Boeing 757-300, one of only a few of its kind still flying in the US. These aircraft are a rare treat for aviation enthusiasts. In addition to the really cool treat, this is actually the Gemini Jet's 2014 release in this exact Continental Glove livery. So many amazing pieces to the puzzle here for today's trip report, and man, it is so cool to be flying this aircraft. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into the Boeing 757-300. This aircraft is a stretched version of the base Boeing 757-200 model, and it's a beauty. It's almost surreal looking at the long fuselage, and it's like a narrow body pretending to be a wide body, so it's certainly quite a fascinating aircraft. With that said, let's go ahead and start our boarding here at gate 75, everybody. Boarding was quick and orderly. As I stepped on board, the familiar narrow-body layout of the 757 greeted me. My seat for today is 9A in United's Economy Plus section. Located towards the front, it offers extra legroom, which is what you really appreciate on longer segments like this one. The pitch was solid, and I could stretch my legs out comfortably, and the seat itself had decent padding. While the 757s are starting to show their age, there's still so much special flying this jet. They, alongside Delta, are the only operators of the type in North America, with Condor expected to retire their Boeing 757-300s later this year. They'll be the only major airlines left flying this type. Pushback was smooth and just slightly behind schedule. As we taxied out the runway 25 right, I couldn't help but feel that classic aviation excitement. You don't just ride a 757, you experience what it's like to fly a 757. And when those Rolls-Royce RB2115 or Pratt & Whitney engines spin up, that signature 757 whine is pure music to any aviation geek, and certainly makes it worth sitting up here in the front. Let's go ahead and get off the ground here on runway 25 right, everybody. I hope all of you enjoyed this takeoff, as it was absolutely a stunning view here in the Los Angeles scenery. We took off into the blue skies, climbing with the nose pointed towards the mountains. As always, the 757's takeoff power was impressive, and so was the view. As we reached our cruising altitude, we started settling into the cabin. The service started about 30 minutes after takeoff with the usual United beverage cart. I went with a Cola Coke and a pack of pretzels. Not much that's fancy here, but this is pretty classic and dependable for most US flights. What was the real treat though? These absolutely outstanding views. From the deserts of Nevada to the peaks of the Rockies, this is one of the most scenic routes in the country. If you're an aviation enthusiast or just love a natural window seat on the 757-300, these views are just simply unbeatable, especially in the summer when you have so many amazing views and long days to work with. Inside the cabin, the age is starting to show. Scratch on the panels, a slightly dated lavatory, and some overhead bins that have seen better days are certainly commonplace here. United on their Boeing 757-300s has 24 first class seats, 54 economy plus seats, and 156 economy seats. First class is arranged into a 2-2 configuration, while both economy plus and economy are 6 abreast 3-3 configured, while both economy plus and economy are 3-3 layout. And as usual, Wi-Fi was available and streaming the IFE through the United app worked well. Those speeds could be inconsistent at times depending on where you're at. Luckily though, United is working to change this as they're going to be retrofitting several of their mainline aircraft. Though I don't believe that the Boeing 757s are on this list, you will find several of the newer narrowbodies like the Boeing 737 Maxes and Airbus A321neos receiving these retrofits. As for the Economy Plus portion of this bundle, it can certainly be a mixed bag. While it can certainly be overpriced, especially on shorter routes, it certainly can be worth it on flights like this. These amazing views, plus the bit of extra legroom, I certainly can say is worth it in select situations. And another big perk of Economy Plus is certainly the accelerated boarding position and being close to the front when you're connecting. Fortunately though, I have over 4 hours here before my next flight boards to Tulsa. United Airlines just has about over a dozen Boeing 757-300s in their fleet. Some of these can range anywhere from 20 years old to 25 years old, and most of these were acquired from the Continental Airlines merger back in 2012. It's certainly been fascinating to see what United Airlines has done with these aircraft, as the majority of them have been flying hub-to-hub routes over the last several years. It is worth noting that Continental Airlines did use these on a variety of routes, and I believe even some transatlantic routes dating back to when they were operating. I do think that United's really purposed these aircraft well, and they certainly have plenty of seats, featuring nearly 225. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at these amazing views as we cruise over Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, and all the other states with so many cool land features, as the summertime is such a good opportunity to see all this amazing scenery with the usually clear skies throughout. As we start our descent, the views come even more dramatic as the Rockies stretch out below us, glowing over the summer sun. As we begin our descent, I'll go ahead and summarize the full experience with United's Boeing 757-300 flying over here from Los Angeles to Denver. So first and foremost, if you noticed a dramatic difference in the trip report formatting difference, I actually used ChatGPT for the base of the script. This is just helpful as I continue to become so busy just to get all the details in there, and I have to say that it really does a good job, especially enhancing word choices and avoiding redundant phrases. So I certainly think it did a good job, and feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. But this part I'm just doing, raw, because these conclusions are really important. But all that said, I really did enjoy my experience. The seat was pretty comfortable, the views were phenomenal, and I think the value was pretty fair, as I mentioned earlier, for Economy Plus on these 757-300s. These aircraft are really cool, and we're certainly fortunate to have these in the United States, and there are a bunch of cheaper segments that you can get on 757-300 on, like this one, or Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta like I did on Delta several years ago, among others. So you definitely can get a ticket for under $100, and I'd highly recommend doing this before they get aged out. I think United will probably be the first to retire these aircraft, but Delta also has some older ones from Northwest too, so definitely stay on the lookout. I certainly have have to give United Airlines credit though, and Delta too for that matter, for making these aircraft a part of their fleet and continuing to fly them despite the age, and it's certainly cool to see all the variety in United's fleet, like the Boeing 767s, the different 777 types, and also the 787 Dreamliners. United's obviously going to be concentrating down to a much more standardized fleet of just a few aircraft types, so this really is the peak time for United Airlines' fleet, and I certainly think that it's important to acknowledge that and also take advantage in flying all these different aircraft types. I certainly hope to get on a 767 sometime, and you can expect multiple 777 and 787 triple ports coming in the near future. And who knows, maybe they'll even order the Airbus A350, but we'll have to see if that order actually comes to fruition dating back to the mid-2010s. With all that being said though, this is incredible value for United 757-300, and I would highly recommend it if you're interested in not only the aviation enthusiast perspective, but also seeing what United's transitioning to. From an older product to the newer products, it's certainly fascinating to look back on it and all the different pieces to the puzzle. But with that being said, everybody, we're going to be landing here on runway 35 left today. I really hope all of you enjoyed this landing. United Airlines is certainly growing, and it's really cool to see what they're transitioning from, and especially the aviation enthusiast perspective, from that engine sound to just overall the amazing 757 wing view and so forth. It is absolutely awesome. So with that being said, let's go ahead and land on runway 35 left, everybody. I hope all of you enjoyed this, and feel free to let me know once again what you think about the format, and I'm super excited for what's ahead. And we'll also have our last flight from the California Zephyr trip on the Mesa Airlines CRJ900 when those were flying commercially for United, so that will also be fascinating as well. With that said, let's go ahead and land on runway 35 left, everybody. Hope all of you enjoyed this, as this was certainly a smooth touchdown. Conga line. Musical chairs into DEN. With that landing in the books, we touched down on runway 35 left at exactly 2:15 p.m. local time, right on schedule, making up for the few minutes that we lost in LAX. The long rollout and distinct flex of the 757's landing gear added to the thrill. After a brief taxi, we arrived at gate B28, and deplaning began quickly thanks to my forward seat. Flying the Boeing 757-300 isn't just about getting from A to B, it's an experience. This jet is rare, fast, and full of character. From the powerful takeoff to the signature engine sounds, it's a real treat for any aviation fan. While United 757s are aging, they still offer a strong product. Economy Plus may not always be a steal, but it's certainly great for the scenic portion of the flight along with the comfortable ride. It definitely delivered. Thank you all for coming along on United Airlines Flight 489 from Los Angeles to Denver. Stay tuned on my next flight, where I'll be flying a Mesa Airlines Bombardier CRJ900 back to Tulsa to conclude the California Zephyr trip. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. My name is CM Aviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as CM Aviation is signing off.